Dump on me once, shame on you. Dump on me twice. Okay, now this is starting to feel kinda nice. Moon boys gather around as we discuss in this video not only why the crypto markets are being suppressed, but most importantly, why right now is quite literally when you have to be paying the most attention possible to these markets, as everyone is bored, scared, shaking, trembling, and even leaking. Things aren't about to get big. They're about to get, say it with me, very big. So if you understand, the pump isn't just coming, it's about to come big time. Hit that like and subscribe, get signed up with FEMX or BITUNIX below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, before we dump into these markets today, in terms of the price, let's see some absolutely very big, potentially extremely big news, where we see countries are adopting Bitcoin. It is happening right now, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not, it is happening, slowly but surely. We can see a list of some of these countries right here, specifically multiple in the legislative process being initiated stage, with some even at law or policies being enacted. And El Salvador, the king of them all, actually does have Bitcoin reserves. So this is very big. We also see that one of every 3 US states is looking to buy Bitcoin. And that number, I think, is only going to increase. Utah standing out specifically as the state closest to a potential implementation. Its bill would authorize the location of 5% to qualifying digital assets. We also see as well, Maryland is being added to this map, where we've been checking up on this basically every day. There's some type of new legislation, specifically this one, initiated or introduced by Kaylin Young. Absolutely very big. We see this map expanding. In a matter of no time, I personally think we're going to see this entire map be orange because Bitcoin is about to go giga mode. We also see Kentucky filing a bill to invest 10% of state funds in Bitcoin, joining 15 other states in the Bitcoin reserve movement. That's massive. Guys, you understand, I'm like maybe 15% through the news that I want to cover in this video. And already some of what I've talked about, you would be literally shaking and trembling and being so excited if you were reading this news, if I was reading this to you and the price of Bitcoin was going up. But the difference is right now, the price of Bitcoin isn't going up. And so newer people and people that don't fully understand these markets are deciding that they simply shouldn't be excited and they can't be excited because, these things are happening, but the price isn't immediately pumping. And that is such a rookie mistake. If you can't separate fundamentally seeing what's actually happening and why we're about to go up so much, and if you can't separate the delay in price movement before that happens, then simply you're doing it wrong. But luckily for you, if you just chill out and don't get feared out of your position, you will benefit anyway, right? You don't have to be excited. You don't have to be excited about Bitcoin not pumping right now. You don't necessarily have to be excited about this news that I'm covering. But as long as you understand and stick to your thesis that likely Bitcoin is about to be way more valuable than it has ever been, then you're going to benefit. And that's really all you need to do. You don't really have to care that much, I guess. But I mean, this is truly interesting to me. And I think most people do think this is absolutely insane to see it going on every day. Bitcoin is growing faster than the internet. This is the Bitcoin versus internet adoption. You can see on this curve, this is exactly the technology curve that I think we're witnessing. It is a revolution, just like the internet was a revolution in terms of how information was spread, how people could connect with each other, how a million things could happen. And when the internet was created, was everybody on board and everyone thought, wow, this is going to change everything? No, that's not the case at all. Paul Krugman, he won like a Nobel Prize and stuff. He was basically saying, he's quoted as saying the internet would have less of an impact than the fax machine. People drastically underestimated what happened and how big the internet would become, okay? If we just go back in time 30 years, most of the planet would tell you the internet is going to not change anything. Computers are way too expensive for anybody to ever own one unless it's like a company or something. Because again, computers used to be the size of houses, basically. They used to be massive and very weak. Now your phone has more power than every supercomputer 30 years ago combined, basically. And so that's what technology does. It ramps up, and you don't want to miss out on these. I mean, pretty much the writing is on the wall as far as I'm concerned, but it's still crazy to me how many people still doubt Bitcoin and how many people think that it's going to go away. And the people that think that are literally people that haven't even Googled anything about Bitcoin. They haven't looked up anything about Bitcoin. They don't know what hash rate is. They don't even know what proof of work or how Bitcoin even works. They quite literally think it's just It's just, I don't know what they think, but they don't understand any of it. Everybody they've ever had a conversation with about Bitcoin, without fail, you can tell within a minute of talking to them that they've quite literally done no research and they're just regurgitating headlines that like CNN posted about why it's a scam or something. Okay. People, and if you actually do your own research, you come to a different conclusion. Overwhelmingly, it's not even a debate. We also see that Bitcoin is early, exactly on track with the 2017 cycle. What's next is obvious. And this is one thing that, I mean, you can show this to someone, and I think even something like this is simple enough to even where somebody that doesn't understand anything about Bitcoin can at least get some sort of a new perspective and think, oh, wait, is this true? What is this compared to? And you show them previous cycles, you show them the halving, you show them the cyclicality of Bitcoin and these bull runs. Even people with no knowledge start to get a taste of why big things are potentially coming. The Senate Banking Subcommittee on Bitcoin and Crypto has gotten straight to work. We can see that they are already trying and working through that process of enacting Bitcoin legislation. And as well, so far this cycle, Bitcoin has spent nearly 600 days ranging, basically going sideways, or about 1.6 years. By contrast, Bitcoin has spent only about 175 days making meaningful price action to the upside, or less than 6 months. So what that means, for the most part, is that, as I said yesterday, and as I've said for years, most of the gains, most of the excitement, most of the pumping that happens in Bitcoin and the crypto altcoin market is in a very small amount of time. Okay, if this is the entire time of price action, only about this much of it is when the crazy gains happen. A lot of it is just sideways, and it always has been, right? Just remember, the next 30-day plus sprint of great price action is totally worth the wait. I personally think, yes, I think, and that's why, like, if you're watching this and you're just saying, well, price isn't pumping, therefore I don't have the capacity to have any foresight for understanding that maybe it is coming, and you just live, I mean, that's really the thing. People with generally lower intelligence do not have the ability to use foresight, which is the idea that it's a crazy idea, but maybe you can have a small amount of predicting or understanding where something is going. For example, I know somebody who, this is a silly example, but it's also true. They will routinely not get food even though they haven't eaten in a few hours, and I think, oh, well, I'm not hungry right now, I don't need food. And then quite literally like 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, they're hungry and they think, oh, I should have ordered food. But they do that almost every day. They don't have the ability to think, hey, you know what? I know I'm not hungry at this exact second, but maybe I will be in like 30 minutes. And it's just like basically, it's an example of, I don't know if it's like lower IQ or just not being able to recognize that, hey, you're probably going to get hungry like you do every day. It is lower intelligence in general, but in general, having foresight and being able to see and predict things that are not like super hard to predict, right? If I would tell you, oh, hey, I haven't eaten in 5 hours, but I'm not hungry right now, but I probably will be hungry in 1 hour because usually after about 6 hours, that's when I get hungry. That's not like a really hard thing to be able to do, right? To understand that, hey, maybe about after 6 hours, I'm going to get hungry. That doesn't sound like a hard thing to do, but you would be surprised with the amount of people that I know and just in general that go through life and don't have the ability to just understand, hey, maybe I'll be hungry in 30 minutes and I should plan ahead. People just can't do it. I don't know why. But that's why it doesn't surprise me that so many people are missing something as big as this, considering they can't even figure out when they're going to be hungry and plan their day around that, right? Most people are just sheep, and they literally have no ability to like predict their own daily routine. It's crazy to me. Generally, I just think people in general, it's not everyone, absolutely not. But I'm saying the fact that it's more than one person on the planet, in fact, it's millions of people that simply can't even plan their day correctly. Yeah, well, you expect them to understand Bitcoin? Of course they're not going to understand Bitcoin. Most of the population is not very intelligent, is the easiest way for me to say this. Funding rates are now lower than when Bitcoin crashed to about $50,000 about 6 months ago. Meaning, I personally think that this market is so oversold right now. I think we're absolutely heading up. Funding rates being this low are a very good indication of this. We see as well, if you save in Bitcoin for 40 years, I can guarantee that you'll be richer than the boomer who bought a house for $70K in the 1980s and held for 40 years. I can also guarantee the world will hate you much more than they hate boomers today, right? I'm sure you've all heard of this argument where 50 years ago, it was so much cheaper to buy a house relative to income than it is today, because inflation has gotten a lot worse is the most simple answer for why that is. But also boomers and people that were able to buy a house, basically, I mean, 50 years ago, you could have a job at McDonald's and you could basically support a family. Nowadays, you would have to like have multiple people in a house all working at McDonald's that even be considerably like close at all to, I mean, again, that's actually not even true. If you had like a house full of 4 people that worked at McDonald's, actually all of their money combined probably still wouldn't meet the amount you'd need to afford a house, unless it was like a very cheap house. But a lot of people hate boomers and people that were able to take advantage of such cheap housing back then because they're jealous. And this post is very true, I think. I think people are going to be so jealous. I mean, in fact, they already are. But think about 10 years from now. Let's say Bitcoin hits $2 million in the next 10 years. And anybody that bought Bitcoin right now, literally today at $100,000, is up 20x or more. And their life is just much easier because they have financial freedom that a lot of people don't have. People are going to be very jealous of you. They're going to be doing what they've already been doing the past decade and saying incorrect things like you just got lucky, whatever it is. It's not luck. It's consistency. It's the ability to have foresight, to understand a technology, to understand why it's going to be massive. But if you want to help yourself feel better and just say, oh, well, it was just luck, that's okay. But also put the fries in the bag, bro. We also see this. I feel a phase shift moment for MicroStrategy loading. Study Tesla back in 2019, 6 years ago. It's about to become a must-own stock institutionally. Bitcoin is about to grab Wall Street and never let go. As well, Bitcoin's annual volatility fell to an all-time low, while its risk-adjusted returns remain superior to most major asset classes. And as well, Bitcoin whales are accumulating. While retail traders are capitulating, the wealth transfer from weak hands to strong ones is happening. It's crazy. The people, somebody on Twitter with $300 invested in the market, thinking the top is in, thinks they have a better grasp of this market than the trillions of dollar institutions that are slowly getting into this market. No, I don't think the $300 Jimmy and Johnny down the street that haven't figured out how to turn a microwave on or I don't think they have a better chance of predicting this market than the trillions of dollars that are coming into the market. Those people probably have a little bit more of an insight into it. Potentially, you never know. But as well, we look at this chart by Scalping Pro on X. As we've seen this entire bull market, there's consolidation and ranging before upside moves, very obviously. And we see this cycle is also setting up perfectly with Bitcoin dominance here at supply, while ETH Bitcoin is at demand. The last time this happened, alts went parabolic. Basically, he's making a post for why he thinks altcoins are about to pump. I don't, as you guys probably know, because my videos are primarily Bitcoin, although I am invested in alts, I don't make every video about altcoins, and I'm not here telling you every day that altcoin season is coming every day. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know when altcoin season is coming. I personally think Bitcoin is about to initiate a mega move to the upside very soon here. And I think that alts will pump eventually. But if you're asking me when they will pump, I have no idea. Nobody does. But I can guarantee you the person telling you every single day, altcoin season is tomorrow, altcoin season is tomorrow, they know less than you do somehow, and less than I know somehow. But in terms of Bitcoin price, every day that we just range here, again, I'm just putting as much money as I can in. I am quite literally just putting as much money as I can into Bitcoin. I'm so bullish on this thing. And I've been doing this for the last 8 years. And now I'm very lucky to be where I'm at right now. I say lucky, but it's been hard work mentally. I mean, literally just buying Bitcoin and waiting 8 years itself is not hard physically. It takes a couple minutes to type things in and do whatever. But mentally, you need to have a strong mind to be able to do that. You have to have strong belief and the ability to have foresight. You need to have patience. You need to have conviction. And if you have all of those mental things, again, it's not physically hard. Going to a job every day for 35, 40 years and working for money that you instantly lose 30 or so percent of, plus more with all the taxes you pay, that is physically hard. That is way physically harder than just buying Bitcoin and chilling and waiting and understanding that there's a revolution happening. So in a sense, buying Bitcoin is one of the easiest things you could do, but also one of the hardest things you can do if you have a weak mind. So train your mind. And also, if you train yourself mentally to just be able to endure and have patience and all these other good traits, then your life in general will be better. Everything in your life will be better if you just learn some simple traits like being patient, not being a baby is the easiest way to say it. And get signed with Femex or BITUNIX below if you want to buy Bitcoin altcoins or trade. Without further ado.